Jungle podcast is raw, it's real, it has zero gimmicks, zero bullshit, and absolutely zero fucks to give.
Welcome to the Iron Jungle. This is real, no bullshit, no holds barred, wide fucking open podcast.
We've been at this far too long to be fucking around. This is the jungle, where anything goes, no holds barred.
We're going to be talking about the real shit, how to succeed in a world where you have goals, but there's so much misinformation and bullshit trying to sell you something. This is the informative podcast, and there's no holds barred in the jungle.
The question is, are you ready? Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle, baby.
Welcome to the Iron Jungle. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome inside the Iron Jungle podcast. Vanilla Gorilla, Drew Peters, Ryan Buckeye here. 'Tis the season. It's the holiday season, Drew. People like to indulge. First off, from a coaching standpoint or from a nutritional coach standpoint, do you give Thursday sort of a zero fucks to give day to your peeps, or you tell them you need to stick to the plan?
No, I'm not going to make anybody follow their meal plan on Thanksgiving Day. Unless you're in a contest prep, then shut the fuck up, eat what's on your plan, you're good. But for the vast majority of people, like many of my clients out there, the others will give. I'll give a weekly update on Saturday. Man, we're diving right into this shit. I love it. Get the weekly update last Saturday or Friday and say, hey, for Thursday, enjoy a meal, eat sensibly, don't eat like a complete asshole. And that's where it gives you some good guidelines today. It happened to dawn on us that, hey, Thanksgiving's Thursday. It was timely matter for this podcast this week. So I guess starting at the top, my man, every single year, if you go to Thanksgiving, and I've done this, the first time I did this, I remember very distinctly, you show up with Tupperware because you're in contest prep, and everybody looks like at you like you have a dick growing from your forehead. So
some people do.
Yeah, because they don't get it. Like, what the fuck? This is Thanksgiving. You're not having Thanksgiving. It's the same thing with you're not having Christmas dinner.
Right.
So first and foremost, there is a stigma, man. But currently you're not having an official contest prep yet, so you have the leeway. But what's your main approach? If someone were to tell you, how about you kick this one off?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my coach and I actually talked about it, and he's just like, you know what, have fun, just don't like you said, don't eat like an asshole. But me, because I'm so like dialed in and I want to do the best I can, like I'm still going to stick to my fucking plan. You can still eat a Thanksgiving meal and still be on plan. It just requires me to take a scale with me. It's not a big fucking deal. I mean, turkey's not bad for you. If you're going to eat turkey, cool. You can weigh that shit. Luckily for me, I'm in Minnesota, so we believe in wild rice. That's not a bad thing. I can measure that shit out. I can eat some wild rice. I don't need mashed potatoes and gravy. And quite frankly, like I don't love holiday food all the time. Like we talked about this on previous episodes. When you become accustomed to a certain type of eating, that becomes kind of like what you enjoy. So not to say that all Thanksgiving stuff sucks. Like I don't need the desserts and stuff, but the one thing that disgusts me is like when I see, sorry, aunts and uncles, but I'm throwing you on the bus here. When you load up your plate and it's like literally like 5 pounds of food on a plate, and then afterwards they unbutton the top button of their jeans because they think it's funny. Like yuck, Drew. What are they doing?
I mean, there's a big difference. If you truly love Thanksgiving food, to me, honestly, Thanksgiving isn't that big of a deal. Maybe I'm fucking weird. I'm not that hyped about a lot of the Thanksgiving food. Here's my strategy. I haven't employed you. You're gonna get the gold of the episode right off the bat. There's a lot of funny shit, so trust me, you'll want to buck up the whole ride. But
Bucked
the key
up.
is you can absolutely, as Ryan said, have a Thanksgiving meal and still stay on your plan to a large degree. I have successfully gone through years of Thanksgiving meals and holidays without gaining weight. Quote unquote, everybody, I gained so much weight during the holidays. The thing is to prioritize it and actually have a meal. Don't turn this into a time of the year where you're having a constant trickle of bullshit into your diet, all the sweets and extras and stuff here and there and multiple dinners, da, 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 da. It's no different. But if, say, you focus on keeping on plan the rest of the week, have a great workout on Wednesday, maybe even Turkey Day morning, and of course the day after, that doesn't change on the gym, you're getting your cardio in. And then when it comes to your meal, say you have a Thanksgiving lunch, eat your breakfast like you would that day, do everything normally. Then when it comes time to replace a meal or two with your Thanksgiving one, prioritize with protein. And that means make the star of your meal the turkey. Go for the white meat, have a little bit of dark meat in there. You can't really go wrong. Satiate yourself, get your protein in first. If you're having ham, okay, then load up with some ham. If you have a little bit of both, then fine. If you're a weird fucking family and you're having something like lasagna on Thanksgiving, one year we had an impromptu Thanksgiving, we had a lasagna. It was the weirdest thing ever. I'm not a lasagna guy.
That doesn't seem like a Nebraska thing, Drew. That's just a brain fart by the family right there.
It was. Well, there was other stuff going on. I mean, a few people, some family issues and personal issues in the hospital. Some health issues. That year, unfortunately, some elder people. It's a last minute thing. But hey, get the family together. But the point being is that prioritize protein. Start with the turkey. Load up on that. You can't go wrong with having too much turkey. I'm sorry. Don't slather that motherfucker up with too much gravy, and you'll be okay. But after that, look at around the table here. There's always sweet potatoes on the table. Yeah, they may have some little bit of butter and some marshmallow on it. That's fine. You're not going to die from having a little extra, but have a sensible portion. If you
Drew, let me stop you real quick. Is that so the marshmallows on the sweet potatoes, just to kind of go off track here, isn't that a Midwestern thing, or is that kind of like a national thing? Because I don't know if it might just be us.
I don't know. If anybody's listening, well, you fuckers are missing out. I'm down here in South Florida, contrary to that. My wife's Venezuelan. They don't have Thanksgiving in Venezuela, so they celebrate the American day. So I can make shit up and we'd be good.
Yeah.
But they do turkey. But I don't know. That's a true thing. Just like here, little nugget for you here. So I think this is honestly a Nebraska thing, and I'm gonna see if it's Midwest too. So when you have chili in the wintertime, what do you eat with it?
Like with it? Typically, it's just like bread. You just eat chili and bread, and you dip.
The thing that in Nebraska throws everybody off is traditionally, they can start in grade school even. We always have cinnamon rolls with chili.
That's fucked up, dude. That's fucked up.
It's amazing. You're not pouring the chili over the cinnamon roll, you weirdo. Or some people do chili with cornbread. But no, you're having a cinnamon roll with your bowl of chili. You can eat them together. You're having the nice savory richness, spiciness of the chili, but then you have the sweet and savory and butteriness of the cinnamon roll. It's a great complementary flavor. You don't have to dip it in your chili. What I'm saying is you can have the same meal. That's definitely a Midwest Nebraskan thing.
That's probably a Nebraska thing, because that's fucked up. That's still fucked up.
Dude, I'm telling you, you've tried it. It's amazing.
True.
But to the point, they have sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Have if you like some of your grandma's homemade bread or whatever, or if you really fucking love the King Sweet Hawaiian you buy at the store, hey, knock yourself out. But the thing is too, just keep it. You don't have to have a fucking weigh everything. Just don't eat fucking like a dumb shit. Don't load your plate with 20 different types of casseroles and 3 different types of pie and everything on the spread. Pick and choose. Prioritize the protein. Knock that bitch out. You want a little cranberry? Fine. You want a little bit of the green bean casserole? Have a little small portion of it. Enjoy, sample things. If you feel satiated, but don't make yourself sick. That's the key points for how you go about loading your plate. If you want to have seconds on turkey, by all means, have seconds on turkey. You're not going to be a fat fuck from having too much turkey. Unless you're eating tons of dark meat, skin, shit like that, tons of fat with it. But that's the biggest advice I have to give you off the bat. Prioritize protein, man.
The one thing I think that we run into during the holidays too, not just Thanksgiving, but Christmas, and even we can go as far as Easter, is the snacking portion, because you always snack before you actually eat, and you're not cognizant of what you're grabbing and what you're eating, and you're grabbing a handful of chips or whatever dips. Dips are huge, right? You're dipping in ranch, and you're just having. Next thing you know, you've had half a fucking gallon of ranch. Then you go and eat your Thanksgiving meal. So it's not just the meal itself. You also got to be think about the snackability and what you're doing that day, because you can lose track real fucking quick. I wish we had a map up of regionalized foods for Thanksgiving, because in Minnesota too, Wisconsin, cheesy potatoes is a big thing, right? I mean, I don't know if that was a Nebraska thing, but it's that's not good for you at all. There's nothing good about cheesy potatoes. I mean, they're delicious, but the thing is, yes, to the point, the big moral of the thing here is enjoy it. Don't feel like you can't enjoy the meal. You don't have to be that fucking, unless, like Drew said, you're on prep, then you knew exactly what you're getting yourself into. But at the same time, you don't have to go super crazy. And look at gravy, for instance. Let's just talk about that. People put gravy on everything, it seems like. Their mashed potatoes, their turkey, they dip their Hawaiian fucking bun in it. Gravy is the glue that holds the family together during Thanksgiving for whatever reason. It's also probably the one, I'm not going to call it a condiment, because it's not. But the one thing on the table, it's probably the worst fucking thing there for you. Depends how you make it. Most people take the turkey fat, that is included in it. Then there's a half a stick of butter. Then there's this powder shit that they get from the stores. None of that sounds healthy to me, Drew. None of it does. It just sounds like it's clogging your fucking arteries.
It's liquid calories. Once again, if you have somebody that doesn't know how to cook a turkey and it's dry as fuck, you'd be better off putting a little bit of cranberry sauce in there, or just washing out some water. But no, it's the glue. I'm not a big gravy fan in general. I've never liked it on my turkey. The only thing I'd ever use it on, if that, would maybe mashed potatoes. I'm not a gravy guy.
Some people too, and this is becoming more of a tradition, I feel is more and more people are not cooking dinner at home anymore. They're actually going out on Thanksgiving and getting meals. So if you're one of those families that celebrate by going out, then it might be a little bit easier for you, because you can order off the menu, and then you can kind of be selective. But at the same time, in your head, you're probably thinking now I have an excuse, a free pass. Here's the biggest issue with the holidays. We talked about cheat meals and refeed days 1 or 2 episodes ago. I can't remember what it was. people treat the holidays from like November 25th to December 25th as a cheat month. And they just they cheat like every day with sweets and snacks, and they're baking for Christmas, and that's why so many people put these pounds on for the holidays. And on top of that, then people say, well, my New Year's resolution is I'm going to drop weight. So they wait till January 2nd, then they go for 2 weeks and they quit. But not to get too far off the track, like back to Thanksgiving, you mentioned, Drew, we talked about it earlier, not just the meal itself, but like you should still prioritize your workouts around Thanksgiving. I work out Thanksgiving Day. I work out in the morning. My gym is 24/7. I make it a priority to work out the day before. The day after, everybody's at fucking Walmart and Target buying TVs, so the gyms are typically empty. You have, do you prioritize, is it strength training? Do you prioritize cardio, pre-post Thanksgiving meal? Because people approach it different. I'm just going to stick to my plan. I'm going to keep doing what I do because I don't plan on doing anything crazy for Thanksgiving. But like for you, working with clients and stuff, do you say like, listen, the day after Thanksgiving, 45 minutes of cardio or whatever it might be?
Honestly, no. I say just resume your plan. Treat Thanksgiving is basically like a cheat meal. It's no fucking different to me. It's the same thing. The rule of thumb is you shouldn't eat to make yourself sick. You should be able to eat your meals as you normally would. If you have a Thanksgiving lunch, eat your breakfast as you normally would, then eat your meals the rest of the day. If you're not hungry, you probably overdid it, okay? Or if you have a meal later in the day, Thanksgiving, okay, eat normally, then plan it as a cheat meal. Have a good workout. Don't do extra. Once again, I hate like the fucking thing where people get this guilt. I mean, unless you ate like an entire pie, you're just a fucking asshole to begin with. But at that point, even then, stop.
Either you're a fucking asshole or you're Ben Kane practicing getting ready for a big powerlifting competition because the dude eats like pumpkin and apple pies all day.
That's intentional assholism.
Yeah.
But think of it this way. Think of this analogy. I always say this. If you know you fuck up, if you say, think of it as a car. You're driving down the road, you blow out a tire. Oh, damn it, I fucked up. You're not going to get out of the car and stab the other three tires, right? Don't just say, fuck it, right? You give out, you fix what's wrong, you correct it, you drive on, you continue. You don't go out and make it worse by saying, oh, fuck it, I already messed up my meal for the day. I'm just going to, or say, fuck it, I had a bad day, fuck this week. I'll get back to it next week. No. Have your meal, have your fuck up, but then focus on moving forward. Fix the flat, get back on the road. There's a lot of fucking car analogies. But, the point is don't kill yourself with cardio. At the same time, don't like bitch out. Make sure it's quality cardio. What you're supposed to be doing makes the rest of your meals are on point. And that one blip goes back to what I've always said. You're not going to get fat from one meal, and you're not going to get lean from one clean meal. It takes time. It's continuous, residual. If anything, you might have a nice metabolism spike. The key is exactly it. Don't graze all day long. Don't graze all holiday season, all the snacks and bullshit and goodies. Plan strategically. Try to have a workout the day before, the day of, or the day after at very least. You should be anyway. Utilize those calories. Get back, have your body moving efficiently, go back to the clean food, quote unquote clean food, normal diet you do, and just get back on track. You'll be okay. You may have a temporary weight gain from holding a little more, retention from some water, or, just literally if you 8 pounds of food, that's sitting in your stomach. You have to shit it out. That's just fact.
Not just food, Drew. I mean, the day before Thanksgiving, Wednesday is like the drunkest day of the year in America. Like the bars are the most, because people go home and they haven't seen people forever. So they go to the bars. And what do you do when you're at the bar? You drink. So you drink from Wednesday night. You're with your family on Thursday. Not only are you grazing all day long, you're fucking drinking all day long too. At least a lot of people do, whether it be wine, craft beers, whatever it might be. So like there are a lot of layers to Thanksgiving Day that people need to really consider and think about. It's like, okay, here's the first thing is like, how are we going to break up the main meal? The second thing is like, how are we going to lay off all this dips and all these different like treats that they brought pre? And then like, okay, now there's the alcohol thing. Uncle Eddie wants to have a beer with me. I can't say no to Uncle Eddie, Drew. I need to drink that beer. So that brings me to not necessarily how to handle your alcohol, but how to handle your family. And how to handle those close to you if you are that person that shows up with Tupperware, or you are that person that's going to be weighing out your food. Because ultimately, especially like for Drew and I, for instance, like we're from small town, Midwest towns, like they don't understand this stuff. They never will. Maybe if you're a little bit bigger city, maybe you understand a little bit more because some bigger city parents may be more health conscious. But like, Drew, if you walked in back into Nebraska with a scale weighing out they know you now, but the first time they're probably looking at you and be like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Eat grandma's fucking turkey. Eat it.
Honestly, I've been like this for so long. Even like in college, they kind of understood like, oh, you're going to study exercise science, personal training, you eat healthy. Like they didn't really give me shit for it, it's kind of cool that way. But then if you like all of a sudden say you over the course of last year, you bettered yourself, you start eating healthy, you know, with a meal plan, then all of a sudden you pull that card out at your first family gathering, like, what the fuck? Okay, what is this? I mean, it's one day, da-da-da. In that case, honestly, they're probably right. Unless you're in a contest prep, even and say, oh, I'm in contest prep, I have to follow a strict diet, I have X amount of weeks to reach this goal to compete. But then again, if you're just doing general health or weight loss, there's honestly different ways to look at this. If you have really bad associations with food in terms of trigger foods. In other words, if you start and like you get going, if you have something, maybe just don't have those foods. You know, at the same time too, don't deprive yourself, because honestly that can lead to bigger binges, things like that. I've studied pretty extensively on the psychology of eating disorders, but you know, just be aware of what triggers you. If like having like certain foods at Thanksgiving throw you off, okay, then maybe avoid those certain foods but enjoy other things. Or if, for example's sake, if you just don't indulge, period, you bring your own food with you, then just don't open that can of worms, maybe do that. There's no one size fits all approach, but the key is, you know, just understand what makes you have these issues. If you can't stop eating, what causes that, you know? The approach you have, and we've talked about this before, is that food is such a social thing, especially for Thanksgiving. It's family, it's gathering, it's friends, it's a time to enjoy food. And unfortunately, I guess, well, yes, not unfortunately, but over the years, you know, the whole focal point of holidays is food and alcohol. They're two very social lubricants that make things go well together. You enjoy a meal with your family. You have some of that good homemade cooking that you grew up eating. It's nostalgic. It gets you in the mood. But then too, it gets tricky. So, you know, if you have if you're not just drinking general like myself, people are usually aware that I'm not really a drinker, so they don't really pressure me. But in case of that, hey, have a beer. We'll say, oh, you know, make something up if you fucking have to. Like, you know, I'm on a medication. I had a bug or something, and I'm not supposed to take alcohol with, like, say, these antibiotics, whatever the fuck it is. Then, you know, you're gonna have Uncle Ron who's like, those antibiotics are gonna kill the world off. You may open yourself for that conversation, but hey, it's better than having a fucking drink, right? Or just say, oh, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm not feeling too good, you know, in terms of, you know, alcohol's not gonna sit well in my stomach. That's all you have to say. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have to make this big long explanation. Oh, it doesn't feel like it would sit well in my stomach. It doesn't appeal to me. That's all you have to say.
Yeah,
you know? If you try to say, if you're just saying, oh, it doesn't sit well with me, I'm not feeling well in that regard, that's easy. Rather than say, oh, I have a condition, then they're going to ask you questions and you're going to be fucked. So that's my approach.
I have a condition. I get hungover for 3 days. That's my condition. That's why I don't drink. It's pretty simple like that. It hurts. It literally fucking hurts to drink for me. Desserts, obviously another thing around the holidays, which are big. Listen, I mean, I'm not going to look at you right now, Drew, and tell you I don't like desserts. I fucking love ice cream. I love rhubarb pie, which is like a Midwest thing probably. I mean, there's just a lot of different things that I do enjoy. I just haven't had them in a long time. And it's not hard to say no, is it? I mean, for me, I can say no to pretty much everything in the world except my wife, because then I get in trouble. Other than that, it's just like no isn't a tough word to say, even to your families. Now, to tell your grandma or your aunt who makes this fucking spectacular dessert every year, no, that you're not going to try it, they might take that as a sign of disrespect for whatever reason. But I got to tell you, like, you just can't feel bad. Like, this is your personal choice to live this way and live the lifestyle that you want to live. Like, don't feel bad telling people, friends, family, or otherwise, no, that it's your shit.
Yep, exactly. And the thing is, too, is like in this case, you can probably have a little bit. Like, you don't have to have half a fucking pie. Like, if you prioritize, you know, I had, say, how I approach Thanksgiving. Like, I remember last I had traditional Thanksgiving. Last 2 years have been contest prep. This is the first time in like 3 or 4 years I've actually eaten on Thanksgiving, and I'm hosting it, so I can control what the fuck we have. And we'll get into that in a second. But then, you know, prioritize the turkey, have maybe a little bit, like, say, whatever your side is. In this case, you're going to love my Thanksgiving meal here. But then at the end of the day, a normal average slice of pie, you know, like a sliver of it, then fine, have a fucking pie. Pick a dessert that you really love and enjoy a piece of that. Or if you want to sample like a little bites, or if you share with each other, like each, like split like a little bit of each and kind of get a tasting of each thing, then that's an approach too. You can enjoy it, but you're not like making yourself sick. But yeah, I know, I get that too. You go home and your grandmother's homemade pie and you haven't been home in a year or whatever, and then you're not gonna have the one thing she's known for, she knows you love. Like, what the fuck, you know? So I get that. It's tough, man.
She made it for Baby Drew. Baby Gorilla Drew. And Baby Gorilla Drew is grown up and he's no longer eating this stuff. All right, dude, you brought something up here because we're hosting a Friendsgiving, which is, I mean, it's kind of like a common thing in this country. I don't know if we have some foreign listeners or not, but a bunch of friends come over, same shit. We're cooking the meal. You just mentioned that you're hosting Thanksgiving this year. Are you in Florida at your place?
Yep.
All right. So now we get to control the menu for the day. Are you selfish and do you make it more for yourself, or are you pretty like, you know what, welcoming? We're going to put a plethora of things that everybody can enjoy.
Both. But then again, like, since it's not traditional quote unquote Thanksgiving, I guess it's maybe the culture thing, which is fine. Like, with stuff that everybody still is going to enjoy. And I'm a pretty good fucking cook. So instead of doing a whole turkey, what we're doing, I'm doing actually a turkey breast in a crock pot. And I have, I have a good recipe to make it just super juicy. And also, like, I don't need 20 pounds of turkey in my fridge. So what we're going to do here is just do a turkey breast. I think it's 8 pounds, which is perfect, for 6-7 people that are going to come. That's still a lot of meat. We're doing potatoes. We're doing both the sweet potato, the fat ass ones, with some marshmallow on them. But then again, not crazy. And I'm also making, I do the little petite potatoes, like the purple golds and the reds. I slice them up and cube them. I drizzle them with a little bit of olive oil, and I roast them with rosemary and some salt. So it's roasted potatoes rather than like traditional mashed potatoes with butter and cream. And then we're having this plain sweet corn, plain just chopped sweet corn, the warmed up, with that, a little bit of seasoning. And of course, we're doing a couple different pies for dessert, like an apple pie and like a pumpkin, So it's not.
Please tell me you're making the pies. You're not going down to Publix and buying them. Come on, Drew.
I'm just going to my Publix, man.
I know you are. I know you are.
And even then, I'm not a big pie guy, so it's just, we have dessert for who likes it. Then my little niece, who's super fucking adorable, we got a couple little pieces of cheesecake for her. She loves cheesecake, and she's, fucking like 40 pounds, so she doesn't eat a lot, But, for the kids, we got some cheesecake. Or maybe I'm a big kid and I'll have a little bit of cheesecake too,
Yeah.
But
Well, what's the thing that you make? What's the thing that you make selfishly for yourself?
honestly, none of that. I'm not really a big Thanksgiving guy, so whatever kind of the consensus wants. But then again, we still got the basics. We got potatoes, we got turkey, we got corn, we have dessert. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of like a lot of the traditional Thanksgiving dishes. Like, I don't know, somebody stop listening for this shit. The green bean casserole, the macaroni salad, and all this shit people just love. I'm like, I'm not a fan of like creamy salads in general. They're fucking gross. So
That shocks me. I thought you'd be a huge fan of creamy things, Drew.
I mean, hey, you never know.
No, I love it. Like, so for us too, it's hard to be selfish during that time because you're feeding. I mean, in our case, we're feeding like 15 people. I don't know how many people you're feeding, but it's like the last thing you want to do is be a poor fucking host. So you want to make sure that you still provide. But at the same time, like I think it's in 2019, almost 2020, like we can provide a decent variety. So that way, if people, because we have vegetarians in our friend group too, so we have to be cognizant of what they eat. They're not going to be eating turkey or ham or whatever people decide to cook. I mean, so you almost have to have like a vegan dish now. And sometimes like if, and this is interesting, like if they're a vegetarian and you're going to a Thanksgiving, a lot of times that I've seen, they just bring their own. The vegetarians will bring their own food because they don't expect the host to accommodate them, which is probably not like a bad mindset to have. A lot of hosts probably don't care that there's a vegetarian coming to it. Like us, we're like, yes, we're going to have a vegetarian here. So what can we provide her? I don't know if you deal with that at all, but they're very picky when it comes to food. They have different, especially nowadays with all this new information coming out in these documentaries saying like eating meat is bad and all this shit. Like people or keto and paleo, like people follow certain diets that as a host, I don't say you have to like know every single fucking diet, but also be cognizant of like who's coming to your parties and if they have special dietary needs, that you can help maybe provide something that they like, and or if you don't give a fuck, then you can just tell them to bring their own thing too. I suppose that.
I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I'm real.
Drew's the type that's good.
Here's the dickhead side. Like, trust me, if somebody has a fucking special food thing, they'll fucking tell you about it. You'll know they're vegetarian. You'll know they're non-fucking gluten. They'll fucking tell you.
Drew's the type of guy that'll cut off like a big fucking slab of turkey, walk right up to the vegan and slap it on the plate in front of her and say, "Enjoy your day." I mean, that's the type of person Drew is, but that's okay. Drew.
I slap her with the turkey.
Yeah, slap him with the turkey. So, like, as over the course of the next month from here, like, yes, there are going to be many different family get-togethers, many different dishes. It's not just turkey. Like, I mean, for Christmas, for instance, I mean, ham's a big thing. We do, like, at my house, like, I started a tradition of doing prime rib. I wanted to do something different. And even though prime rib's not, like, great for you, it's a one-time-a-year thing. It's, 47 grams of fat per slice, but it's something totally different. We can fast forward to that. So we're not going to do another episode around Christmas, but, like, Christmas dishes, too, in general, like, I think the same concepts hold true. Like, protein first. But the one thing I want to talk to you about, Drew, is like when it comes to fats around the holidays, because it's not like you're getting healthy fats. You're not getting salmon. I mean, you'll get smoked salmon maybe as a snack, which is great. But you're not getting like avocado. You're not getting oils. You do get some nuts around Christmas time, quite a bit of nuts. But like in terms of healthy fats, are there ones that people can prioritize at these dinners using traditional? Because gravy's not quote unquote a healthy fat per se. So like what should they prioritize if they actually do give a shit?
I mean, if you do give a shit, obviously avoid just like empty calorie fats. I mean, that's a weird way of putting that. But the stuff is literally nothing but for flavoring. Like, don't be slathering everything with fucking butter. If you chose to, maybe if you can control it, maybe get some Kerrygold grass-fed butter. At least get some extra omega-3s in it. Avoid the gravy or the bunch of bullshit like that, like heavy creams, things like that, which are going to inherently be in some of these dishes. Or cookies are going to be used with, shortening, things like that. But, like the traditional holiday spreads, obviously, I mean, I'm thinking on the fly here. If you have things like, say, olives on the olive tray, like a little condiment tray, that'd be great. Get some omega-3s. Olives are a great source of that. They have salmon available, some salmon. If not, the key is just don't add a bunch of extra bullshit fats, like once again, butters, heavy creams, things like that. They're just like fat bombs. Handfuls. Nuts as a snack is great over, like, say, Christmas cookies or other things like that. But once again, it's just the holidays. Shouldn't chronically be doing it every single day during the holiday season. If you have that one meal or so, or if you have multiple holiday meals, once again, just eat sensibly. Don't overindulge. Enjoy a thing or two if you have like a holiday gathering, and just don't go crazy. Prioritize protein, and you should be fine. And the key is to keep everything else in check. Your other eating throughout the rest of the days, make sure that you have, your workouts in there. And once again, don't eat to make yourself sick. That's the key points there, and don't graze. That's the main thing. Don't fucking graze.
Don't be a cow. Don't be a cattle.
Yeah, exactly.
God damn it. For food hacks, just to kind of round out the episode here around the holidays, like certain traditional dishes, like a lot of people do, like mashed potatoes, sour cream. Like, here's a food hack for you. Use Greek yogurt instead of sour cream. Tastes exactly the same for the most part. I mean, and it's a little bit a better option for you. So I don't know if people have ever tried it. You mentioned chili before, and I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, well, you put sour cream in chili. Like, that's the thing you do now. But didn't realize you're going to say a fucking cinnamon roll. So it kind of threw me off this whole entire episode. I still can't stop thinking about the fact that you guys have chili and cinnamon rolls. Like, what the fuck, Nebraska? What the fuck? It's amazing. Do you have any other food hacks or food cheat jobs that people can kind of maybe take into account over the holidays? I mean, again, the moral here is, like, eat how you want. I mean, enjoy it. But, like, are there little things that people can do? Are there little replacements that they could do where they're not necessarily, maybe they're not using gravy. Maybe there's an alternative to gravy that they can use. You mentioned cranberries.
Absolutely. So if once again, the thing is if you volunteer to bring a dish to a party, whatever it is, you'll know there's something that you controlled, that you know what's in it, and you can enjoy. That's the key. If you volunteer to bring something, But say if you're hosting a dinner like we are, if you want to have a leaner cut of turkey, you can control how it's made. Like in that case, we're doing turkey breast, where I'm roasting it in a crock pot, fresh herbs and spices and lemon juices and some special glazes, keep the sugar content down, all that type of shit. You can control the turkey there. Rather than doing a traditional basted turkey, it's injected with things. Or if you don't want to do gravy or dinner, then you don't have to do gravy. You can do a natural cranberry sauce versus one with added sugar, like the whole berry over the jelly. Typically is a little bit better. You can find versions that are natural cranberry only. If you need to add a little bit of sweetness, you can mix in a little bit of cane sugar, whatever you want to do, if you choose to sweeten it, and sweeten it up that way. If you're making things like mashed potatoes, alternatively, instead of using heavy creams, maybe use, like, say, the fat-free creams or whatever, or a lighter option, or don't use as much. Or if you use an alternative creamer, if you want to increase, and once again, know your audience, you may be able to use things like coconut milk instead of traditional creamer. You can have some healthy MCTs, lauric acid. You're still going to have some fat, so it's going to have a different fatty acid profile. You have a different perspective there. Or if you're using, say, Cool Whip for your pies, you can do the fat-free Cool Whips. And people are going to argue, oh, it's a chemical shitstorm. Well, honestly, bro, unless you're having a cup of it, the difference between like normal, regular, full fat whipping cream and like fat free, it's like a gram of fat. It's fucking laughable. It's not a big deal. Across the board there, if you're having drinks, once again, try to avoid sugary bullshit. You're better off having clear liquors. I'm not an alcohol expert, but less extra sugary bullshit. You'll be fine. Have, say, like a soda and a tonic and whatever, versus having like what is it, a Russian Moscow Mule with all the extra shit in it, or like something with heavy creams and sugars. That's a good life hack. When it comes to pies, you can't really make a pie fucking healthier, but just don't have a whole one. If you're having things like meats, obviously choose for leaner options that are available, leaner cuts of ham without the skin, or like white meat turkey over dark meat turkey. So that's just the general array of things. And you can always, once again, if you typically want it, you can search for healthier, like healthier mashed potatoes, or say healthier whatever it is recipe. You can probably find something. Just get creative, guys.
Don't make instant mashed potatoes. Don't be that asshole. Don't be the asshole making instant mashed potatoes. What?
That's for contests.
Yeah, exactly. A last thing here on this episode is like I know many people listening to this probably have multiple Thanksgivings, where it's a Friendsgiving and say your side of the family, but in like say Drew and I, like if Drew's family and Kathy's family are all like in the same city, you guys probably would end up doing 2 Thanksgivings, like one with each family, which means double the chances to fuck up. So like for those listening, it's like yes, you might do really well for one meal, or you might control yourself for one meal, but now you have a second one, like. Do you allow yourself to cheat twice, Drew? I mean, how do you like in that case, or do you be selective? I mean, or do you just like 50% one, 50% the other? Because that's the problem too. Is like a lot of people will do 2 of them, then maybe a Friendsgiving. So now you have 3 different get-togethers within 2 days, and you can consume a lot of fucking calories in those 3 meals alone.
Well, the thing is, too, just go with the same approach and say, oh, hey, I had a big meal yesterday. I'm still not really hungry from it, not as hungry from it. So if you can control your internal things, if somebody gives you any shit about, say, oh, I had a big meal yesterday and I'm still kind of full from it, or like, I don't have much of an appetite, or they're going to be good and bad, because one of them, too, if you have multiple meals, you don't have to have that mentality like, oh, my God, it's the only chance I have to eat this during the year. Trust me, you'll get another shot. Or if, you can just get tired of eating it inherently, you're like, I'm good on turkey. I'm not as hungry. Inherently, you'll probably eat less. But if you go in with a full-fledged, I don't give a fuck attitude for every meal, then yeah, you're probably going to have that issue. But if you just kind of approach it with like, hey, it's not my only one. I have multiple ones. Enjoy a little bit. Don't overindulge. More like snack on like a lighter meal versus having an all-out stuff fest. You'll probably be okay.
The last question, then we're going to be done. Is Dragon Farmer could really use a GDA this time of year, so that way consumers could pop up before they eat this Thanksgiving meal. Do you take a glucose disposal agent before these big meals?
Honestly, not really. If I really wanted to, I could, but I mean, it's not a bad idea by any means. But then again, don't use that as like a substitute for eating like a dickhead,
Yeah.
Oh, I can eat whatever I want. You can help it to settle those nutrients, that's for sure. It may help you feel a little bit better. But then again, don't use that as a crutch to eat what you shouldn't be eating, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So everybody out there, we hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy the tryptophan hangover after you dive into the turkey and mashed potatoes. I fully predict that Drew right now is probably sitting around 250. You might see him next week at about 275, 280, because he's going to eat like an asshole, because Drew wants to get big as fuck. No, I'm kidding.
I'm that kid that loses weight during the holidays. It's unfortunate. I don't know how.
Because you're so busy cooking the meal, you forget to eat, bro. That's the problem. Or you're too busy entertaining. What?
My metabolism's nuts. That doesn't help either. My body gets like shitty shit right now. I'll have like froyo, like 20 ounces after leg day, and I wake up a pound lighter the next day. It's fucking horrible.
People out there are shaking their head and be like, fuck you, Drew. Bad, you got such hard problems, Drew. You're losing weight and eating ice cream. Such a tough life. Happy Thanksgiving to Swole Ketty and the Vanilla Gorilla. You guys are going to enjoy your first Thanksgiving together as a married couple hosting the family. So the best from us to you, Drew. And we'll to everybody listening, we definitely appreciate you all tuning in and listening every week. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We are on iTunes, Spotify, and on YouTube. Make sure you like us on Facebook. It is the Iron Jungle Podcast. Vanilla Gorilla Drew over at Instagram. You can follow him. He does a lot of cool Q&A shit. And obviously, we're at Fitness Informant. Any idea for topics, leave it over our Facebook page, and we will dive into them. Otherwise, until next week, Drew, have a great Thanksgiving, my man. This is good shit.